Well, I guess this is a possibility that I log in and I'm the only participant. But the video is being recorded no matter what. So it is April the 3rd. It is Friday. Someone was trying to join. Okay, well, I'm going to give everyone a few more minutes, and if no one is able to or willing to join, I will just go through the presentation by my lonesome, and then I will upload it so people can watch it later. Well, I think I have a participant. Hello, iPhone. Maybe. Hello,
Hello.
iPhone. Who's the iPhone?
Me.
Good, because I know exactly who me is. I'm serious. I can't. It all on my screen says iPhone, and then ask who it is, and you said it's me.
Oh, Carter.
Carter, hey, how's it going, man?
Hi, how's it going?
What's going all right? Your mom asked me about getting a packet. So what's your internet status? You got it sometimes, no times, what times?
Um, I have my neighbors have internet,
Right.
but I don't have internet.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. So on Mondays, you can pick up the paper stuff between 11 and 12 at school.
Okay.
Yeah. So we've got sort of a county plan for how things are going to roll out, and that was my goal today. But yesterday I had 6 or 7 kids join in, and now it's just me and you, buddy. So can you only hear me, or can you see anything?
I can hear you and see you at the same time.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. So I can then flip it around and display stuff on my screen. So I can show you like the stuff the county sent out, and we'll just go through it. And well, I'm recording this so that when um, when it's all said and done, I can post this for people that weren't able to show up on like for class basically, and they can see the class session later. But yeah, I was waiting till 10:10. So they got 1 more minute to join us, or else they're just gonna have to watch the replay. How you doing? Is everybody? I saw your mom in the store with somebody, maybe your auntie or somebody, and asked how you're doing. They say you're doing fine, so I guess no one's sick. Everyone's good.
Yeah,
All right.
thankful.
The weather has been pretty. I hope people have been at least going out in their yards and whatnot, maybe shooting hoops in the front. But yeah, this illness is scary. I guess the one thing that's been the most bothersome is the reports on the healthcare workers that have don't have enough masks and gloves and things like that. That's kind of spooky. But
Yeah.
all right, well it's 10:10. So I am gonna load up some stuff. Here we go. So the first thing I wanted to go through is this document. Now I'm gonna display my screen so you can just help me out. So I'm learning how this technology works, and let's see what you see after I click this button. All right, so you should be seeing the Childeberg Middle School. I mean, on your phone, it might be hard to see, but can you see my document?
Yeah. Yeah, but I
Oh,
can zoom in.
oh, well, that's true. Okay, so what we got going on here? This is the Childeberg Middle School 8th grade team plan. So basically, all of your teachers are going to have office hours for parents and students to reach out to us between 10 and 11 every week, every day of the week, every weekday, that is. So you should definitely be able to get a hold of us. And like that's when I'm going to be holding my live sessions.
Okay.
Yeah, I just got a text from Michael's mom saying he's trying to log in, but it's not working.
Uh,
So you just did you join this, like did you go to Google Classroom on the phone and click the link and it just let you join in?
I had to put the ID and password.
Interesting. Okay. I wonder if that's how my 6 or 7 had to do it yesterday, or if the link just let him in. Hmm. Um.
I know, like, is this your first period? Like, first period?
No, this is anyone and everyone that can join in.
Oh, because Madeline told me yesterday about the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I had no idea. So
Madeline told you, but she wasn't even in the class. Well, okay. Anyway, we're gonna keep going here. So we got this document. It's got all the teachers' emails. It has all of the teachers. I'm betting they'll have one of these in paper on Monday, but it has all the teachers' emails. Excuse me. It has all of our remind codes. So if anyone didn't actually have their remind codes for announcements, then there's that as well. So then we have these little sections for like what we can expect from each teacher. I'll go ahead and go over mine. So you need to expect 2 assignments per week from me. They're all going to be worth 100 points. Now that might mean Khan Academy, iReady, Google Forms, Mastery Connect, whatever I give you, you're going to get 2 per week. I'm going to be doing these YouTube videos for, it's like, so basically there's going to be 2 kinds of videos. There's going to be one that I pre-record where it's just me showing work, watch it as many times as you want. And then I'm going to be doing these live sessions from 10 to 11 every day where I can go over problems. We can talk about, basically whatever. It's just class. And I can save them and upload them later as well to YouTube. So if anyone couldn't be at their computer or at their phone, they can just go back and watch it retroactively later. Weekly contact. So I'm expected to contact you, and I'm going to hope to contact you twice, but I will try to contact everybody at least once every week via classroom, phone, email, remind, whatever. Let's see. I'm going to offer links to resources and examples, videos, demonstrations, and practice activities. Now, the weird part about this is I can give you a million links, but unless you actually go to them and go through them and use them, then they're not really going to be much use. But I will provide lots of material for you guys to look at, help out. Then I'm gonna have what you're doing now. I'm gonna have Zoom office hours from 10 to 11 every day, and I'll put up the links in Classroom. But yeah, apparently, however I set up today's meeting must have been different from yesterday's meeting because yesterday it was. I mean, no one had a problem logging in, but I'm wondering. I don't know. I'll just have to try to be more consistent and make sure everyone can log in
yeah,
most easily. So now, how do I turn in my assignments? Okay, if you have internet access, you need to submit them via Google Classroom or like in my case, like Khan Academy or whatever. But I guess I'll also include a Google Classroom assignment that'll just be a Google Doc saying, "Hey, make sure you do this." And then, if you don't have internet access, you need to take a picture of the paper stuff you finish and text it to me. So I'm never gonna meet you and like collect it or anything.
yeah.
So okay, looks like one Miss Abby Beasley will be joining us momentarily. Every now and then I might need to check my phone because people are gonna be asking how to log in and such. Hey Abby, how's it going?
Good.
Wow, you sound great. Just so you know, that sounded like you feel amazing.
I have a headache.
Okay, we'll try not to make that worse.
Okay.
Did you have to use the meeting ID and the password?
I didn't.
You just use the link?
Oh, the link on Classroom wouldn't work, so I'm having to use my phone.
Okay, well,
You just type in the numbers, and you don't have to put meeting ID or anything.
Well, I've never used Zoom before, so
yeah, so some of the students that were logged in yesterday are having trouble logging into this one. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Yeah, just texting Austin's family. The same thing I was just talking to Carter about. Well, I guess the only difference was, and I thought this is the only thing I clicked. So yesterday, I allowed everyone to log in with audio and video, and then I realized something a little bit weird. So when I do at the end, I record the whole thing, and I posted it for people that weren't able to see the stream. But
Okay.
I realized when I put it on YouTube that, oh, people can see my students' faces, and I'm not really sure I like that. So I thought, well, maybe today I would list it where it would be audio only, and apparently that little change is causing some issues with people being able just to click the link and join in. So I will try to rectify that before next week. So what we're looking at is a document, and you can replay the video later via YouTube. But we're just going over what you can expect from me each week, and then we're talking about the difference between people that are going to be doing their work online or paper. And if you're doing it online, you need to do all your assignments on Classroom. And if you're doing it on paper, you need to pick that stuff up at school between 10 and 11 on Mondays. And you will send in your work via text message. You'll just take a picture of the stuff you finish and send it to me or whatever other teacher you have. The next section of the document is a long list of standards. Excuse me. It's a long list of standards that you'll be getting from each teacher. Yeah, same message. The people are getting that blocked message when they click on the link.
It's because it says it's an audio to audio app.
In the morning. Yeah, I'm just telling them I'm going to upload the video to YouTube so everyone can watch it later. Okay, so for me, and I did nice little colors. So I've got a bunch of standards that I'm going to be teaching, or at least trying to teach this way for the fourth 9 weeks. You can read through them on your own time, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's like, I don't know, like a dozen of them. The other teachers listed theirs as well. Some are more, some are less, but this was outlined by the state and the county. Like these are the standards. So some of them we may have already done, but we're gonna go through them again. We have until I think June 5th. I think the school year got extended by like a week or so, but it's not gonna feel like a real week because of how we're doing this. But that is the first document that I wanted to go over. So if you're curious as to what you're going to be doing over the next few weeks, starting like full force on Monday, this is the document to look at. The next one we're going to peek at is a slideshow. Let me drag it over. So this is the county plan, and I remember looking at this with the faculty, but we're going to go through it again. Okay, so just curious on your devices right now, is all you see the middle school? Like, do you see me or your like images of your names? Yes or no?
I see you, top right.
Yeah, I see you top right, me next to you, and Carter below me.
Okay. I'm renaming iPhone to Carter. All right. So yeah, so there's no way I can get that off right now, but it's all right. Okay, so the middle school. Very nice. Hello. All right, so there's a video from Miss Jones and Mr. Jacks. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and read this so I know that everyone heard it. Okay, so during this unprecedented time, it is essential for our school and family to work together to ensure that students receive uninterrupted learning opportunities. We want to encourage everyone to commit to working together during this time to ensure that our students are learning and progressing academically. The following is a general outline of the school's plan to meet the academic needs of our students during this time. This plan will begin Monday, April 6th. That's this coming Monday. More information will be posted on each teacher's Google Classroom by Friday, which is already done from me, which includes this presentation. All right, so the teachers will provide quality instruction and resources to ensure that students are learning state content standards, those things that I just talked about from the other document. Teachers and administrators will provide open lines of communication with students and parents, Google Classroom, phone calls, emails, Class Dojo, Remind. So basically, the teachers have to use these tools and communicate with every student twice a week. Teachers and administrators will provide help and support to both parents and students with academic assignments. Now, parents are, schedule a block of time about 2 hours a day for each student to work. So, yeah, so we're kind of hoping that every parent is able to get their kids to sit down and work for 2 hours a day. Ensure that their child completes all assignments. That's 2 assignments in reading each week, 2 assignments in math, and then 1 science and 1 social studies assignment. And if you have Miss Ratliff, that'd be 1 for her as well. Ensure their child reads at a minimum of 10 to 20 minutes each day, which I thought I might actually do on stream. Like, I would just decide this is the book we're reading, and if you don't want to read, then you can just follow along with me. Work packets will be created each week for students who have no internet access. Parents may pick them up on Mondays in the front of the school from 11 to 12. So there that is. In front of the school from 11 to 12 if you're going to be a paper person. So students will, and by the way, for anyone watching this later in the stream, the paper packets are only meant for students that do not have internet access. They are not meant for, I just feel like I'll pick one up, because we're only making enough copies for students that have been identified as needing the paper copies. They're not meant for just whoever wants to come and get one. Students are expected to check all teachers' Google Classroom every day for messages and posts about assignments. You must complete all assignments each week. This will serve as an advocate. You need to serve as an advocate and reach out to teachers during their scheduled office hours, that's from 10 to 11, to clarify any misunderstandings regarding assignments. Now, you can contact me after 11, but it might be a while before I get back to you. But guaranteed, if you contact me between 10 and 11, you will hear back from me. Okay, contact information and office hour. Let's see. So we've got Miss Jones' email, Coach Jack's email, Miss Williamson's email. We got, okay, so Miss Bloodsworth and Miss Gable. Now, this is a bit of irony. So if you have issues with your Chromebook and you need to email Miss Bloodsworth, you might not be able to, depending on the issue with your Chromebook. But that being said, this is Miss Bloodsworth and Miss Gable's contact information. And if you have any issues with a device, they've got to know. They have all the 5th grade teachers' emails, all the 6th grade teachers' emails, 7th grade, and us, the 8th grade teachers. Hey, they spelled my name right. Sweet. That's a bonus. And that's kind of the end of the presentation. So it's just really basic stuff. So of the audience of 2, anyone get a question about anything that was in the presentation? Any questions at all about what's going to be happening?
No, sir.
No,
Cool.
sir.
How are the rest of the Beasleys, by the way?
It's Rogers.
It's what?
Rogers.
I can't understand the word you're saying. My old man hears.
Beasley is my dad's side of the family. I live with my mom's side of the family. Rogers.
Gotcha, it's the Rogers. I'm sorry. Well, how are the rest of the Rogers doing?
Good. My stepdad's immunely compromised, so we can't leave the house any more than we have to.
I understand how that goes. I've got family members who are in a very similar situation where they are just like, I mean, if they get coughed a mile away from this thing, and it's pretty spooky. I mean, there was a time when I was like, nah, it's not going to change too many things, but now I'm very, very careful about going to the grocery store and things, especially because I'm going to have to take Claire with me. So, yeah, I'm very careful about that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that being said, we can actually get out paper and pencil and do some practice. My favorite thing in the world. Okay, so
Where's my binder?
yeah, Carter, if you got paper and pencil, go ahead and bust it out. I know you usually do have your own supplies ready to go.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me take a look and see if you guys actually tried these lessons I posted earlier this week. I guess probably not. If you're on phones, so. Okay, so this first one isn't going to have as much scrap work because it's more of like a visual thing. Hang on, let me drag this over. Okay, we're going to try a little tool here that I have not tried. Annotate. Oh, okay. It does let me draw and stuff. Okay, let me try this. Let me change. Let me see if I can change my color. Oh, it's more like a highlighter. Weird. I'm trying to get this draw tool to work so I don't have to cut and paste, but we'll see. All right, so you know what? Let's see if I can just cut this out. Okay, I'm gonna go back to my tried and trues. I'm gonna take a screenshot of what I'm looking at, and then I'm gonna open it in Paint. It's just, it always works. Okay, you'll need paper and pencil here in a minute, but for this, we're just gonna be kind of looking at stuff. Okay. Okay, so if you can zoom in or if you can see this, great. If you can't, you have to let me know because I can probably make it larger. Okay, so what we're talking about right now is something called an intercept. That is the whole big thing to take away is what an intercept is from this lesson. So here's what they are. We've got this blue line going through our system, and it connects, like it crosses over the x-axis and the y-axis one time each. So if you look right here and right here, you'll notice I'm drawing these red dots. Okay, so these two red dots, you'll notice that the blue line actually connects with the y-axis and the x-axis, and those are the things that we're talking about right now. So this location and this location. Okay, so what these are called, this is called the y-intercept. It's where the blue line connects with the y-axis. It's always going to have, and this is going to be super important later, it's always going to have an x value of 0 and then its y value. This one over here, you might have already inferred, is called the x-axis, is the x-intercept, because it's on the x-axis. Now, what we know about these is that they will always have an x value, and then their y value is always going to be 0, and that is going to be super important later. So right now, if we had to guess, if you guys can zoom in, what do you think the XY pair is for the y-intercept on this guy? Now, I know because its x value is going to be 0, but what does it look like the y value is? Can you guys zoom in and see it?
100.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 0, 100. And that's actually what I'll end up putting up here. I'll grab the pen. So the x, oh wait, that's, okay, this is the y-intercept. There it is, y-intercept. So this would be 0 is an x value, and then 100 for the y value. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Now, that's why this lesson is just a visual thing. If you can just look at it and see where it connects, then you're fine. In the next lesson, we're going to be doing some calculations. So now, Carter, your turn. What do you think about this guy right here, the x-intercept? What's the x value? What's, like, here's our x-axis. So what's the x value for this red dot? Lost Carter. Okay. What do you think, Addie?
Negative 250.
Right. So it's going to be negative 250. Twos are like really hard to draw for me. So it's negative 250, and then the y value is 0 because it didn't go up at all. So that's what this whole lesson is, and you'll have, I guess, I don't know if this will be next week's assignment, but good for learning anyway. So Those are what intercepts are, and as long as you understand those concepts, then we can move on to calculating, which is kind of the real meat of the two lessons. We can do one more of these real quick. Hang on, let me see. Screenshot. Go back to page. All right, so here's our next problem. Same thing. So we need to look at where this blue line connects. This one looks like it's going to be a little more tricky. Here and here. I don't know, Claire. I'm teaching. The 5-year-old needed to check in on me. Okay. So here's an intercept. And here's an intercept. Now, I'm hoping no one makes this blunder, but it's really important not to get them mixed up. This one is on the y-axis, so I know that's the y-intercept. And it looks like this one is at 0. Now, it's in between 2 and 3, so I'm just going to go ahead and say 2.5. This one, because it's on the x-axis, is the x-intercept. And it looks to be at halfway between 3 and 4, so I'll say 3.5, and then it goes 0 up and down, but that's always going to be that way because it's an x-intercept. So that's what our answers are going to be. Ah, that copied really strangely. Okay, so yeah, the y-intercept now, that's up top. That's the y-intercept. That'd be 0 here now, and the x-intercept will always have a 0 here. So that's kind of like you like getting stuff done early. So the y-intercept is at 0, 2.5, and the x-intercept is at 3.5 over and 0 up. So that's the basic knowledge. But the key thing to take away from this lesson is knowing that that's not the color one. The key thing to take away from this lesson is that y-intercepts always have an x value of 0, and that x-intercepts always have a y value of 0. That is the biggest thing. Hey Carter, how's it going?
What's up?
Okay, so that's the key takeaway, is that, and this is the most important thing going into the next lesson, is that y-intercepts always have an x value of 0 because they're on the y-axis, and the x-intercepts always have a y value of 0 because they're on the x-axis. And I'll show you why that's important right now. So in this lesson, okay, screenshot, paint, paste it in, narrating your own thoughts. There we go. All right, so here's what you're given with now. Instead of having a picture of the entire graph where you can just say, well, there's an intercept and there's an intercept, now you have an equation that you have to manipulate and figure it out. So here's what we are going to do. In the last lesson, what I told you, the most important thing to take away from this is knowing where the zeros go. Whenever you're talking about a y-intercept, you're going to have an x value. Remember, this is the x, this is x, and this is y. So anyway, in a y-intercept, the x value is 0, and in x-intercepts, the y value is 0. And that is where the problems here start for us. And if you don't know that, there's no way to continue. But if you do know that, here's what we would do next. All right, pause. I got to go take care of a 5-year-old. Be right back.
If Corona doesn't get to me now, Bill.
Oof.
I love how just no one else decided to check classroom. Like, I was 10 minutes late, but I still came.
Okay. So here's where we're going to start. Let's go ahead and solve for this guy. Okay, so when we're solving for a y-intercept, we always know that x equals 0. And that's how we're going to unlock this problem. So we write down the equation as it is. Y minus 3 equals 5 times x minus 2. Okay, so now we're going to take that. Since we know x is going to equal to 0, we're just going to plug it in. So that'd be y minus 3 equals 5 times 0 minus 2, which means that y minus 3 is going to equal 5 times -2. Because 0 minus 2 is -2, which means that y minus 3 is going to equal -10. So the opposite of subtracting 3 is adding 3. So I'll add 3 to both sides. Which means we'll end up with y. Okay, so now -3 plus 3 makes 0, which is what we wanted. Now I could write plus 0, but I'm too lazy to do that. -10 plus 3 is -7. So, ta-da, we found it. So apparently our y-intercept, this one's kind of nice because most of them come out to be fractions. But, so apparently our y-intercept is at 0, -7. And the x-intercept work is going to look very, very, very similar. An x-intercept, in x-intercepts, y is always equal to 0. So we're going to follow the exact same steps, except we're going to be substituting in a 0 for the y value instead of the x value. So let's see. So we'll write down the equation y minus 3 equals 5 times x minus 2. And then we'll just put in a 0 for y. So 0 minus 3 equals 5x minus 2. So 0 minus 3 is just -3. So -3 equals 5. Okay, we'll go ahead and distribute. That'd be 5x minus 10. Because you have to multiply the 5 times the x and 5 times the -2. So now we have a little more work then on the y-intercept. So the opposite of subtracting 10 is adding 10. And the goal is to get x by itself, so we need to clear out all this stuff that isn't x. So we'll just add 10 to both sides. -3 plus 10 is going to be +7. So 7 would equal 5x because negative 10 plus 10 makes 0. So I could put plus 0 here, but I'm lazy. I just don't feel like doing it. So now the next thing we have to do to get x by itself is, since this is x being multiplied by 5, we're going to just divide by 5 on both sides. So our answer, because 5 divided by 5 is going to be 1, and 1x is just, well, it's just x. So that'd be 7/5 equals x. I can just drag that over there. So apparently our y-intercept in this problem is at 0, -7, and our x-intercept is at 7/5, 0. And a lot of the answers come out to be fractions and even negative fractions, so people need to just get over being upset when things don't come out to be whole numbers. Okay. That's how that went. So let's try another one, and let's see if you guys can work out some of it on your own Z's. So let's go then. Let's try this one. Take a screenshot, go back to Paint, paste it in. Whoops, I forgot to delete everything first. Okay. So can you zoom in and see this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So here's what I
Yes,
want you
sir.
to. Here's what I want you to try while I go help a 5-year-old with a little, just a small mess she made, just a small one. Okay. So x-intercepts. Okay. So these are x values, and these are our y values. Okay. So here is the key of the lesson. In an x-intercept, which one is the 0?
The in the X,
Y.
it's the second one.
Mm-hmm. And then in the y-intercept, which one is the 0?
X.
X.
Okay. So what you're going to start doing, and then I'll be back and we'll continue. You're going to rewrite this equation, and you're going to plug in zeros for y and x according to whichever intercept you're trying to solve for. So if you're trying to solve for the x-intercept, you write this whole equation, but you put a 0 in for the y value. If you're trying to find the y-intercept, you write out this whole equation, except you put a 0 in for the x value, and then go back and forth and solve. So I'll give you a little head start while I go help with the mess, and then we'll come back and solve it. Be right back. Okay, so let's see what you have matches up with what I have. So if I decide I'm going to go ahead and solve this x-intercept first. Let me undo that. I'll do it here. Okay, so if I'm doing the x-intercept, that means y always equals 0. So I'll type in y equals 6x plus 13 because that's our equation. So 0, in fact, equals 6x plus 13. And that, I mean, that is the whole key to this thing, is if you understand where the zeros go. So if I subtract 13 from both sides, because the goal is to get x by itself, that means, okay, so 0 minus 13 is negative 13. We'd have 6x. And then we'd have plus 0 because adding opposites, that's an abstract rule. Adding opposites means you get nothing. But I'm too lazy to even write that. So then the next step is to divide both sides by 6. So our answer turns into negative 13. That's an equal sign. Negative 13, 6, which is one of those, like, most students feel bad, like, oh, that can't be the right answer. It's an ugly fraction. Well, you got to get used to that. So this is equal to, now 6 divided by 6 is 1. So it's really 1x, but y? I'm too lazy. So 1x is the same as x. So what we just discovered is that when y is equal to 0, x is equal to negative 13, 6. Now, we're going to do pretty much, so did either one of you get that?
I did.
Nice. Carter, you got yourself mute. How'd it go,
Yeah,
Carter?
I did
Oh,
too.
Music to my ears. So that means everyone watching this later on YouTube, you should get it correct too. Ha ha ha. Okay, so let's try the y-intercept, which is going to be almost the exact same style math, except we're using the 0 for the x instead of the y. So when we're solving for y-intercepts, that means that x is always going to be equal to 0. So in the equation, y equals 6x plus 13, we're just going to substitute, trade out that x. So it'll be 6 times 0. Oh, this one's going to be so much easier. Okay, so y equals, well, 6 times 0 is just 0. And I'm so lazy, I'm not even going to bother writing that. So y is just equal to 13. Every now and then you get an easy one. So anyone get that?
Me.
Yay!
Me too.
And that's how they go. I would say the number one problem for intelligent students like yourselves would be that you'll solve for the x-intercept and the y-intercept in the wrong place, because when Khan does it, or on worksheets or whatever, sometimes they do the x-intercept first and sometimes they do the y-intercept first. So just before you do any work, just make sure you know which one you're solving for. and then put in the zeros very carefully. And then once you've been careful about those things, then the math is pretty quick. So yeah, so that's calculating slopes and locating slopes on graphs. Ta-da. Okay. So what was the goal of today? We got 5 minutes left. The goal was to go over the county documents, which I did. That included the 8th grade contact information and expectations. And then I had the slideshow from the county about the teacher's responsibilities, the parent responsibilities, the student responsibilities. And I guess I should end the session every day the same way. So let me check my email and see if anyone has sent in a screenshot of a problem they wanted me to work out on stream. Yeah, I've got more context from people saying it's blocked. Okay, so whatever I did, yeah, that's multiple students where the apparently the way I hosted it to the way I hosted it yesterday worked fine, but the way I hosted it today went blah. So
It's saying it is not available because it is categorized as audio video.
Well, here was my goal. I was not really a big fan of having students' faces on YouTube once I posted it. So I thought, oh, I'll post this one as audio only. Well, apparently when I posted it as audio only, that caused a real login issue. So what I'm going to have to do is this. At the beginning of every stream, I'm just going to say, if you don't want to be on YouTube, turn off your camera. It's that simple. And anytime someone logs in, I'm going to say, if you don't want to be on YouTube, turn off your camera. Because that I'm pretty sure that is completely 100% optional once you log into a Zoom stream. You do not. It is not mandatory that you have your camera on. So I will host the Zoom starting on Monday, the way I did yesterday, where the login issues should not be an issue, and then I'll just have to disclaim to people saying, "Hey, listen, you don't want to be on YouTube." So I guess looking back at those documents, the one that said the standards, what are we going to be doing next week? I guess it's going to be a Friday special edition. Okay, if I was going to just go down the list here, that means that Friday, next week, would be the properties of integer exponents to generate equivalent numerical expressions. Oh, okay, so exponents. So those are the exponent laws that we have done, but we're going to go ahead and do them again because grades are good. I'm guessing that'll include a lot of abstract rules like, let's see. Get rid of all this stuff. Okay, so next week, big fonts. Wow. So the integer exponent laws would be a little weird to type out. But so let's say we're doing, let's see, some of the abstract ones from ages and ages and ages ago. So that'd be something like, okay, so x to the third power is the same as 1 times x 3 times, which means that x to the second power is 1 times x twice, which means x to the first power is 1 times x 1 time. But here's the rule we need to get to. What is x to the 0 power equal to?
1 times 0.
No, just the 1.
1.
It's 1 times x 0 times. So that's an abstract law right there that kids just have to memorize. So anything to the 0 power is going to be equal to 1. So even if we did something like 23 to the 0 power, that's equal to 1. So that's going to be one of the laws we'll talk about. Let's see. Okay, so x to the third times x to the fifth. The law there is that's going to be the same as x to the third plus fifth. So this would be x to the 8th. That's an abstract law we'll have to go over. And the reason it's really important to memorize it that way is so when you end up with negative exponents, they're not that big of a problem. Let's see what else. Oh, yeah. So we'll be doing stuff like x to the 4th being raised to a power. So x to the 4th 5 times, that's going to be the same as x to 4 times 5th power. So that'll be x to the 20th. Let's see. I guess negative exponents, whenever you get a negative exponent, just think of it as opposites. What's the opposite of multiplying? Dividing. So x to the negative 3rd power, that's the same as 1 being divided by x 3 times. But there's a faster way and a cleaner way to write this. And that's to just use a fraction. Because anything in the denominator is division. So when we do x to the negative 3rd, that's 1 over x to the 3rd. And I remember way back when I was in school just kind of memorizing that. Like, oh, if I have a negative exponent, I'll just write it in the denominator and just go on from there. And I'm sure there'll be more fun stuff to add on, but that's the first. Those are my first immediate responses to realizing what we'll be doing next week. My biggest problem is the county said 2 assignments. Now, I guess I might have to say, okay, they're going to be 2 graded assignments, but if you want to do well on the 2 graded assignments, you're going to have to do all these other practice things. I think that's what it'll come down to. So if you wanted to math magic your way and only do the graded assignments, then good luck, but I think it'll be more important to do all the practice as well. Okay. So I've checked my email to see if there's any last minute requests for responses during, I guess I should, I'll do this off camera, but I'm going to go ahead and respond to the people that did email me saying, yeah, problems with the connections will not happen next week and why. But yeah, that concludes Friday, April 3rd's live stream. So for those of you watching later on the YouTube, if you have any questions, concerns, email me, contact me. The documents are listed on Google Classroom. So if you want to see what what everyone's expected to do for the next several weeks, it's all posted. If you somehow get to watch this on your phone and you are going to be a paper person with the county, those are only for people with no internet access. That is not an option for like everyone to go down there and get a packet. We're only making copies for students that have identified themselves as having no internet access. But if you're one of those people and somehow you watch this on a phone, you need to pick those papers up from Mr. Jacks at the front of the school on Monday between 11 and noon. Okay? Carter, Abby, anything else going on we need to talk about? Nothing we can think of? Okay, well, if you think of something later, contact me. Stay healthy, stay well, eat well. Get outside in your backyard if you can. And take care of your families, all right?
Okay.
Signing off.